lot of work to be done at the Capitol this week. Funding for full-day kindergarten and a bill that would allow immigrants to get Colorado driver's license. Some of the big issues this week.
Yeah, and lawmakers are also taking up the right to die issue. They're looking at a couple of bills that would allow terminally ill patients to choose to end their lives. It's a bill inspired by the life and death of Brittany Maynard, diagnosed with brain cancer. Maynard and her husband moved from California to Oregon so that she could choose to die on her own terms under Oregon's Death with Dignity Act. Her husband helped push a similar bill through the California legislature after her death just over a year ago. I chatted with him in Denver when he was in town talking to Colorado lawmakers.
It's interesting, every time I tell Brittanys' story and share what she went through, there is a little bit of therapy in it for me.
So where do things stand here? I mean, I know you have met with legislators, and you will be meeting with more, I'm sure. What's your goal? What was your promise to Brittany?
My promise to her was to help move legislation so that we get these bills into the law books, so that nobody has to go through leaving their home. As I've met with those legislators, I think they do appreciate hearing the firsthand account, because the opposition, a lot of times, they'll spend, their campaign seems to be based on fear. Their campaign seems to be based on a lot of hypotheticals, where I can share the reality of what Brittany was facing, about the safeguards that are in place, about how protected that individual, how protected Brittany felt going through this process.
Do you still wrestle with this? I mean, is this still?
No, because as soon as I talked to Brittany about it, in my mind, I was very quick to reason, if this was me, what would I be doing? And I came to the exact same conclusion. I will continue to fight this tumor, but I'm going to wage that fight from Oregon. Because if things go bad, I know that I can have a gentle passing. So there wasn't any conflict.
But leaving your family, I mean, I can't speak to that, but, you know, knowing that you're leaving your...
No, we had to uproot, yeah. And so, well, her parents were also up there in Oregon with us and lived at that house with us for most of it. And then my parents would come, you know, and visit, and her friends would come and visit. But that was the hard part, and really that's the injustice. It doesn't matter what state you reside in. You shouldn't have to go to either Oregon, Washington, Vermont, or Montana, or now California, in order to have this option. It should just be something that is a part of any state's healthcare. I met a guy, his name is Dr. Olvera, and he had to watch his 25-year-old daughter die of cancer. She had leukemia that started at age 7. They battled that for 17 years. He went to Harvard Medical School, and he was absolutely powerless to help his daughter and alleviate her suffering. The last 4 months of her life were horrific. She ended up weighing maybe 85 pounds. She did go blind. She was paralyzed. All the things that Brittany would be facing. And he shows me on his phone pictures of Emily Rose. And he shares with me, the emotion just comes up. He shares with me what Emily Rose went through. And Emily Rose asking her father, give me something. Nobody should have to live like this. I don't want to be chemo sick anymore, she would say. Give me something so that I can go to sleep and not have to suffer. She never knew who was in the room because she was blind. They had, you know, to move her from one room to the next. And Olvera, Dr. Olvera would show me these photos, and he would say, this is what Brittany saved you from. And it's true. Brittany, in the end, she did not die as a victim to cancer. She died in the same way she lived her life, with grace, with compassion, and with love.
But you yourself, you told me you were raised as Catholic,
yeah.
and the Catholic Church really is the main opposition to a bill like this. What do you say to those who feel like this is taking the control out of God's hands?
Sure. I respect those that may have a different opinion. I respect those that may say that if they were in Brittany's predicament, that they might make a different choice. But that respect is a two-way street. I am Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I was an altar boy. Bishop John Cummings of the Oakland Diocese presented me with an award for my service in my Catholic community. So I am well aware of the doctrine of the Church. However, while that is the position of the leadership of the Church, in California, 60% of Catholics were also in favor of this. I was also testified in Massachusetts, in Boston, good Irish Catholics, 64% of Catholics in that state. I'm sure that the support amongst Catholics in Colorado is probably in line with that number as well.
You're at peace with how she went?
The answer, yes. And the big part of why I am at peace is because it was Brittany that was able to control, have a little bit of control. When you're told that you're going to die and you only have 6 months to live, or 6 months remaining of your life, the patient feels such a huge amount. There's so much chaos going on and everything feels out of your control. This legislation, this program made it so that Brittany could take back just that little bit of control. She, at that point, then held a trump card that the tumor could not defeat.
As you heard Dan say, the Catholic Church is one of the strongest opponents of right-to-die legislation here in Colorado and around the country.
And in fact, just the other day, the Denver Archdiocese posted a video stating why it is opposed to what it refers to as euthanasia bills.
The Colorado I know is a beautiful place filled with kind, friendly, caring people. It's not a place where doctors would be allowed to write a prescription